My name is Dr. Tushar Mehta. I'm from Canada, and I did my residency there in family medicine. I've also practiced addictions medicine, and I've mostly practiced emergency medicine, or what you call A&E in some countries. I have an interest in international health, and I do work in India and a few other places. And on top of that, I have a strong interest in plant-based diet and health. So when I say plant-based diet and health, you can also say vegan diet and health. And I'm here on behalf of Hina Modi and plantshift.com. So we've talked about a lot of things in terms of getting your protein, what not to eat, allowing for certain fats. If you want to reverse certain things like reverse or protect yourself from diabetes, you can really go on a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. Reverse heart disease, to a certain extent you can do that on a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. But there's still a variety of ways you can eat as a plant-based or a vegan person, and let's address some specific needs that people may have. Okay. Now I know some people who are vegan and they're underweight. They get too skinny, and generally people do lose some weight. Okay, it's good, but they're losing too much weight. They're losing their muscle mass. Okay, and they're getting too skinny and they don't feel good. They're low in energy. Okay, when I look at their diets, a lot of times I see that they're eating food that has very, very low calories. Maybe lots of fruits and vegetables, which is great, but they're not eating enough grains. They're not eating enough proteins. And maybe they're not eating enough fat. Maybe if you're too underweight, you got to put more fat into your diet. So you can have some olive oil, canola oil, some margarine that's made from those kind of things. You can have some tahini. Okay, so get some sources of fat in your diet. Have more nuts and seeds. Have more lentils, beans. Have tofu. A lot of people, they're afraid of eating soy. So they become vegan and they're afraid of eating soy. But as I mentioned in the previous studies, soy is likely a superfood. There's no food that's been as much studied as soy, and all the human studies show benefits. So they're restricting themselves from getting easy protein just by having soy milk, and a couple glasses a day or more, 2, 3, 4 glasses a day can be like a really quick and easy source of protein and other good nutrients. It's not just the protein that causes the anti-cancer and the bone effects, but there's a lot of stuff that's in there that's good. So they're restricting themselves too much from these things. They can have transitional foods. They can have some veggie hot dogs, sausages, or whatever it is, some of the other veggie meats, all right? There's things that they can do if they're underweight to increase protein, increase calories, and increase the density of their foods, okay? So that's what they want to do. Now what about overweight vegans? I know vegans who are overweight. I know some people who became vegan and they gained a lot of weight, all right? Or just, people who are overweight before and they continue to be overweight. What's happening there? Okay, and those people are generally consuming too many calories. Now this may seem like common sense, but the video is meant for people who somehow still have this as a stumbling block, and some people just don't get it. They're intelligent people, but some things they just can't see so easily. I've known people who become plant-based and all of a sudden, they're eating like a half a loaf or a loaf of bread per day, and they're having, pasta like twice a day and eating tons of pasta that people get kind of addicted to it sometimes. They like it so much and they just eat way too much. And sometimes having too much fat or too much sweets or too much potato chips or whatever it is, okay? Now, I know people who are in India. I work in India. I've worked in India every January for a number of years, and I work in some villages. And amongst these villages are a lot of people who are very poor, and they're farmers. Now, I'm a slim guy. I've never been a really big person. And there's people who are skinnier than me working on those farms who eat like 15 or 20 rotis per day. Now, I can eat like 4 or 5 rotis per day, and I'm fine. Okay, I get all the calories I need. I'm not getting fat. I'm not getting slim, and I'm in good shape. I run, I rock climb, whatever. But these people are eating 20, and they're so skinny. Why is that? These guys are working from 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m. in the field. They're hauling stuff, they're moving stuff, they're tilling the field, they're doing harvesting, they're on their feet all day, moving things around, moving hoses around, watering, all kinds of stuff. They're burning a huge amount of calories. So they can eat 15 rotis a day. It doesn't matter. They need that much because they're burning that many calories. Most people I know in Canada, US, or elsewhere are not working that much physically. Even if they have a labor job, they're not working 12 hours, 7 days a week on the farm, okay? So we just have to reduce the amount of fat and reduce the amount of carbs. You can still have carbs, as I mentioned, the whole grains, but you might only need 2 or 3 rotis. You might only need 1 or 2 slices of bread if you're overweight. You got to reduce the amount of things. It's not that carbs are evil. It's just that depending on your activity, you just need less or more. And some people are taking too much. People eat too much fat. You can be vegan, eat a lot of margarine. You can put a lot of oil in your food. So you can be eating too much fat. Okay, and sometimes you can also be eating too much protein. I know people who are vegan and they are just paranoid about protein because everybody's like scaring them about it, and they're eating so much protein. I'm like, dude, you don't need as much protein as you're getting. Okay, if you were a mega athlete, then maybe, but you know, you just need 70 grams or 60 grams depending on your body weight, 50 grams, whatever it is, and you're otherwise overdosing. So overweight people need to rationalize their food consumption, increase the whole, you know, use whole grains but not too many, and not too much fat, and eat more fruits, vegetables, and sort of the fibers type of foods. Okay, pregnancy, as I mentioned, in pregnancy, make sure you get your calcium, B12, maybe a little increased protein. Okay, do that. Okay, it's great to be, you know, a lot of women that we have and are pregnant right now in this day and age are having gestational diabetes, gestational hypertension, and they're obese in their pregnancy. Okay, they're even more obese. So, you know, plant-based diet, a rational plant-based diet would be good for them, and it's not that hard. You just gotta know how to get your protein. Okay, now if you're a new vegan or a new vegetarian, okay, you're going towards that direction of being plant-based, count your protein. Look at the food that you eat. It's pretty easy to look at the ingredients and look at things on the internet and just see how much protein is in different foods and count it for a while. After a month or two of doing this, you don't need to do it anymore. Okay, it'll be automatically. You'll automatically know. I never count my protein anymore, but I did that for some time when I was starting to be vegetarian, and that was like, you just count the amount of protein that you have, and then you know that, oh, I'm getting this much per day. I know that's enough. You know, and you become comfortable about which foods have protein and how much. I know how much roughly my whole grain bread has, and my soy milk, and I can do this, and I can have 20 grams of protein in a snack quite easily, you know, because I just know what I'm eating. Okay, and if I'm exercising more, working out more, and I know that I just don't have time because I don't sometimes even have enough time to sleep, I'm so busy, you know, maybe I'll take a smoothie or something with protein in it, or one of those protein powders, and I'll take a swig of that, and boom, you know, 30, 40 grams of protein in one of those little shakes that you get. It's very easy and it's very quick. Okay, and you can get it from Whole Foods, but it just takes a little bit more time in a busy schedule, and of course our society's a bit crazy, but that's where we're at. Okay, so not that hard, but watch your protein if you need it for elderly people, pregnancy, athletics, and certain types of diseases. Okay, so those are the things we need. So just make sure. Some people get so strict that they don't allow themselves any dessert, any leeway, any sugar. You know, you don't have to get that strict. You know, white bread and sugar and all that stuff is not good, as I mentioned, but sometimes a little bit of potato chips or something like that is okay. All right, so watch out for those common pitfalls of eating too many calories, too little calories, or, you know, too much junk food, or in some cases too little junk food, because that little bit is satisfying. It's in once in a while, it's okay, and it's good to have. Okay, so be happy with what you're doing and do it in a healthy, happy way. For those people transitioning to a plant-based diet, some people do it overnight. I've seen that, and I've seen some people be very successful at that in that way, but that's not the way it has to be done. Some people, it's going to be better if they're gradual. Okay, and if you're gradually doing it, then instead of sort of excluding the animal foods and excluding the meat, what they want to do is include more recipes that have really good, hearty, plant-based foods. And as they get used to cooking more recipes and having food that they love, they enjoy, that tastes good, that's filling and whatnot, you know, using whatever things that they do, then, you know, they slowly, gradually just shift more towards that, and the other stuff sort of just lessens in their diet. You know, the animal foods lessen in their diet, and it becomes a gradual change that's very healthy. So do it in a way that's rational for you. It doesn't, you know, and make sure you, and the other thing, the use of transitional foods. So people transitioning from a meat diet, getting some of that tofu sausages, which is loaded with protein, but healthier than animal-based foods, you know, figure out ways of sauteing that, and with spices and veggies and all kinds of stuff, so you have like the type of heaviness that you're used to, but you know, it's in a format that's now plant-based. It's going to be healthier, and you're going to satisfy yourself. And as time goes on, maybe you're going to say, oh, I don't want as many transitional foods. I want more whole foods, like even wholer foods, you know, having beans and stuff like that. But gradually you'll learn those recipes, and you don't have to force yourself to do it overnight. Okay, so basic tips for people on a plant-based diet. And I hope that's helpful for you. Make sure you share that with friends. Share your recipes. Have a good time. Have fun doing it. Don't have force yourself in a way that's miserable, you know, but have fun with what you're eating, and it's going to have long-term rewards. You know, those rewards are the less heart disease, less diabetes, and you know, some percentage of less cancers, and that's the rewards that we're going to get. But we want people thriving. I want to see all these people who are on these plant-based diet, you know, living longer, but when you're 80 years old, you're still climbing that mountain, you know, and 90 years old, you're still climbing that mountain. And that's what we're going to see. I'm pretty sure about that. You know, the research is showing less disease, but there's also the benefits in terms of the vitality. If your blood vessels are working well, then you're going to have the strength to do a lot of stuff later on in your life and continue to enjoy yourself. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you soon. So the references for every single video that I have are going to be downloadable from the description box, where you can click and download the entire set of references, and then just scroll down to the relevant references. If it's a video on diabetes or cancer or something like that, scroll down to the relevant section and take a look at the references that I'm speaking about. In my videos, I'll generally discuss one reference, but it's going to take too long to discuss 10 references and you'll be bored out of your mind. So I'll discuss one, and then you can go into the reference list and look at more references that are talking about the same topic. And it's important not just to have one reference, but to have multiple references that discuss a topic, because then you're seeing that different studies are being done in different places by different people, and they're getting similar results that are reinforcing each other. Okay, so that's another good thing to look at.